welcome to Clever News Desk. We're reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. First, the headlines. American tourist recounts spending over 36 years in Nigeria instead of 10-day transit visa approved for him in 1988. Kidnapped Federal University of Agriculture Abeokuta female student reportedly murdered by her abductor in Lagos State. National Emergency Management Agency confirms death of 2 persons and 2 injured in a 2-story building collapse at No Man's Land, Fagge local government area of Kano State. I'm Florence Joshua with these and more. Tragedy struck again in Kano State this Thursday night following the collapse of a 2-story building in No Man's Land area of Sabongari, Fagge local government area of the state. 2 persons were said to have lost their lives and many other injured persons were rescued from the rubble of the building. The incident was said to have occurred around 2 a.m. this Thursday night, following several hours of downpours that caused flooding due to overflow of nearby waterways. Confirming the incident in a telephone interview, the Public Relations Officer, Kano State Fire Service, Saminu Abdullahi, said 2 survivors have been rescued. A student of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, Ogun State, Christiana Idowu, who was kidnapped between Ikorodu and Yaba in Lagos State, has been reportedly murdered by her abductor. The Student Union Government President of Funaab, Ibrahim Adeyemi, confirmed the incident this Thursday. Adeyemi said the union can confirm that she was reportedly killed by her abductor and will be addressing the matter. It was gathered that the abductors had demanded a sum of 3 million naira as ransom on August 26 before they could release the student, which the family paid. However, the abductors refused to release her despite the payment. It was gathered that Christiana had left her home in the Italuo area of Ikorodu, heading to the University of Lagos in the Yaba area of the state, where she was observing her industrial training before she was abducted by the kidnappers. May her soul rest in peace. In a country where poverty and inequality persist, educating girls has become a veritable tool to break the circle of poverty and transform lives. Plan International Nigeria has been at the forefront of this fight, working tirelessly at ensuring the girl child have access to quality education and the opportunity it brings. Speaking at the Gender and Inclusion Summit, the country director of Plan, Charles Usi, stated this, that educating the girl child not only breaks the circle of poverty, but also builds a brighter future for Nigeria. The report. According to a recent report by the United Nations, educating girls is one of the most effective ways to reduce poverty and inequality in Nigeria. By providing the girl child with access to quality education, they are empowered to make informed decisions about their lives, securing better paying jobs and contributing meaningfully to the country's economic growth.
In a lot of households in Nigeria, priority is placed on the male or the boys. As such, when a family is hit with poverty, they would rather prioritize the boy to complete his schooling than the girl. And then the girl or the girls in the family are expected to now start looking for money for the family. So it could be through hawking, it could be through early, child and forced marriage. So many things. And also with regards to harmful gender and cultural norms, a lot of families in Nigeria believe that the bulk of a household chores should be done by the girl. And so when girls are burdened with so much housework, even after school, they're not able to catch up and things like that, especially as they get older, their rate of productivity in school starts dropping. And before you know it, parents go, what are you even doing in this school? After all, once you marry, you're going to lose our name and things like that. So these are some of the factors. Then we have issues around safety and security. What we have noticed is that as a result of the crisis and insurgency that's happened in the Northeast, so many girls have stopped going to school, and that has contributed to the number of out-of-school children. And so you cannot expect a child that's been out of school for 3-4 years to come back to primary 1. There's going to be a case of bullying, harassment, either from them or the other way around. But if you provide an accelerated education for the child, whereby they're able to catch up with their mates and then get the required certification provided by the Nigerian government, then you give them access to either gain a skill or vocational skill or continue to senior secondary school, then you'll be addressing the issue of out-of-school children.
When a mother sees the concept of education is a scam, it's often fostered when parents do not see the immediate or the future impact of sending children to school or even female children to school. But when they see someone who is self-accomplished, who has done well for themselves, they have that interest to say, okay, then I believe that my child can go on to be like Confidence, who is one of the world's most sought-after speakers in the field of cybersecurity. That is the impact of mentoring.
Education is that only instrument that can open doors to other rights. It is the gateway to achieving other rights. And these children we are talking about come from homes. They come from families. If you run the school and the community is not engaged, they do not care about what is happening in the school. They take their children as daycare to your school. After school, the children come back. And when they don't see anything happening in the school, the child is not progressing, there's no difference in the child, there's no need for the child to go to school. Stay at home, go to farm, or marry. So that the husband can give you food. Because this school, I don't know what you are doing. And of course, if the child is not learning anything, he's learning something else. If he's not learning what is happening in the school, he's learning something else. And very likely, those things are negative things. So you see, it is like, it has so many branches that we need to actually come together to address. So we need to work.
Plan International Nigeria has been working in the country for the past 10 years, implementing programs aimed at promoting girl-child education and empowerment. Its efforts have yielded significant improvement in providing access to education for the girl child, particularly in rural and marginalized communities. Some of the initiatives implemented by Plan International Nigeria include the building and renovation of schools in rural areas, providing scholarships and educational materials to disadvantaged girls, as well as training of teachers and community leaders to promote girl-child education while implementing programs to address gender-based violence and discrimination. Florence Joshua reporting for Clearview News Desk. The leader of INRI Evangelical Spiritual Church, Primate Elijah Ayodele, has advised President Bola Tinubu to allow restructuring in Nigeria because the democratic system of the country is getting tired. This is one of his prophecies just released. Apart from restructuring, he also cautioned President Tinubu to work assiduously to avert a looming protest which has the potential of crippling the economy. We have a commentary.
After years of monitoring the prophecies being sent to the people of the world by the leader of INRI Evangelical Spiritual Church, Primate Elijah Ayodele, we at Clearview have come to the conclusion that we need to pay attention to this man of God. Our interest became heightened in 2022 when Primate Ayodele predicted that the 2023 elections will be postponed, despite the fact that INEC had confirmed the date. Confirming this, INEC shifted the date. He also predicted Ladipo market fire in Lagos, last earthquake in Japan, and death of some traditional rulers. In the technology world, this man of God, in his 2022 prophecies, predicted a change in the board of Twitter. The sale automatically changed the board of directors. So, when Primate Ayodele sent a warning to President Bola Tinubu of Nigeria, we felt this should be given attention. His prophecy advised Mr. President to do what he referred to as the needful, to avoid another massive protest that may cripple the Nigerian economy for 2 weeks. The prophet made it known that confusion will continue to linger in the present government and will have an unpleasant impact on the country and its citizens. Recollect, Ayodele once said, diesel will be 1,500 naira per litre, petrol will be increased to 1,000 naira per litre and more. As expected, some people refer to him as a doomed prophet. He's now saying that another protest which will cripple the economy for 2 weeks is looming. According to him, there is confusion in Tinubu's government, which he said is already impacting negatively on Nigerians economically, in the area of security, and of course in all aspects. He lamented thus: the price of food commodities will still go haywire. There is serious hardship, and I advise the president not to allow it go beyond this year, because what I am seeing ahead is massive. As it is going, petrol will still be sold for 1,000 naira per litre and more, and it will get to a stage where the government will call for recapitalization in different sectors. Coal tariffs would also be increased. This confusion hasn't started yet." Unquote. Our research findings have, however, revealed that people who are favored by some prophecies praise the prophets, but when they are not favored, then the prophecies are referred to as relevant. However which way, prophecies like the ones we have been receiving from Primate Ayodele encapsulate the divine communication of God's will, foretelling future events or conveying messages of moral and spiritual significance. Prophets, as designated messengers of God, play a pivotal role in this dynamic relationship between the Creator and His creation. The voices of prophets such as Moses, Elijah, and Isaiah echoed through the pages of the Old and New Testaments, each prophet uniquely contributing to the unfolding story of salvation, redemption, and the fulfillment of God's promises.
2 American tourists, Lisa Gatsby and Peter Jenkins, have recounted what led them to spend over 36 years in Nigeria instead of the 10-day transit visas they were approved for them in 1988. The two tourists made the revelation in an interview with a content creator, David Walker, on Wednesday. According to the tourists, they never planned to stay in Nigeria beyond their approved days of visitation until they saw the need to save drill monkeys in the country because they were impressed by the dominance of interesting opportunities in areas of science and wildlife conservation. The roads, the hospitality of Nigerians, and the living condition that appeared better compared to America in those days. Meanwhile, Gatsby identified the lack of patriotism as the challenge facing many Nigerians, while berating the growing negligence of the country's culture, heritage, identity, music, and traditional herbs and healing. If you're just joining us, you're watching the news on Clearview News Desk. We will be back after this break. Stay with us.
We break the news.
This is Christ Embassy.
Recollect, we were the first to break this. Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf of Kano State has approved the appointment of 3 second-class emirs. And this?
Erasmus is the most successful program of the European Union to support education and youth.
And this?
Fubara is not an ungrateful person.
And more.
Tension is currently mounting in Rivers State.
The planned arraignment of Yaya Bello.
Across our platforms. Subscribe now and you will be receiving our notifications and never left out as the news breaks on Clearview.
Welcome back. Troops of the Nigerian Navy have apprehended 6 suspected oil thieves in the Niger Delta region of the country. The suspected oil thieves were caught with 109 sacks of illegal refined petroleum products, 4 fiber boats and 2 wooden boats along Obiniri Kasama Azama Isoni of Bayelsa State. According to settlements signed by the Nigerian Navy spokesperson, Commodore Awuye Adams Aliu, on Wednesday, several illegal refining sites were also destroyed during a series of operations conducted between August 29 and September 2, 2024 by the operatives of the service deployed to the Niger Delta region. Aliu said Nigerian Navy units under the auspices of Operation Delta Sanity recorded significant successes against crude oil theft and destroyed illegal refining sites in the Niger Delta region from August 29 to Monday 22nd September 2024. Aliu added that 7 large Cotonou and 2 fiber boats operated by heavily armed oil thieves loading crude oil from illegal loading points around Botokuri axis of Nembe local government area of Bayelsa State were seized on 29 August. From 1999, when Nigeria returned to democratic dispensation, to 2023, the 36 states of the Federation have produced not less than 149 different personalities holding the position of deputy governors for their states. Of this figure, only 10 have succeeded in taking over the mantle of leadership from their erstwhile principals. In this commentary, Clearview News Desk looks at the outcry for the roles of deputy governors to be properly spelled out in the Constitution, as well as the reason the theoretical number 2 citizens in each state have often been described as a mere spare tire. And that's the news, but before we go, a recap of the top stories. Two American tourists, Lisa Gatsby and Peter Jenkins, have recounted spending over 36 years in Nigeria instead of the 10-day transit visas that were approved for them in 1988. A student of the Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, Ogun State, Christiana Idowu, who was kidnapped between Ikorodu and Yaba in Lagos State, has been reportedly murdered by her abductor. The National Emergency Management Agency confirmed 2 persons dead and 2 injured in a 2-story building that collapsed at Norman's Land, Fage local government area of Kano State this Thursday. You can follow up on latest events and happenings around you via our social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram and YouTube at Clearview News Desk, or via our handle on X, formerly known as Twitter at Clearview Only. Many thanks for watching. I am Florence Joshua. Bye for now.
We invite you to watch how we clear the views on all matters through our partner station MITV on DSTV channel 255, 7 p.m. daily, and also our YouTube and Facebook pages under one name, Clearview News Desk every day. We call it The People's News, as we are available to come over and cover your events upon notice. Or do you have news you want us to broadcast? Send it in. We verify and go to town with it. All for you. Go ahead, engage us to thrash out those naughty issues on the news. And what we need from you is to share and subscribe. More important, convince your loved ones, friends, relatives, co-worshippers and more to subscribe so as to be getting notifications as we break the news. Go a step further, like the news and drop your thoughts on the comment section. Clearview News. We clear the view one time and for all time.